Now, for me personally, I've always said before you can start lifting hundreds of pounds worth of weight on a bar, you got to be able to lift your own body weight first. And that's where the pull ups come into play. Many of you can't even do one. What's up, everyone? David here. I'm got a new video for y'all today. But before we get into it, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any new videos. Because remember, new videos on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So don't miss out. So now, normally when I do my back workouts, it usually follows the same format. I start off with deadlifts. I do some type of rowing exercise. I do some type of pull down exercise specifically on a cable machine. And I go back to doing some other row and then some other shrug. That's typically the layout of all of my back workouts realistically. But this past week, Wednesday specifically, because for me personally, I do my back workouts on Wednesdays, I had the urge. It's been a while since I've done pull-ups. Now, I personally love the exercise of the pull-up, but I actually ironically don't do many of them. I hardly ever do them. The only reason why I don't do them is because I can humbly say that I'm really good at them. I can easily rep out a bunch of pull-ups. I can easily hit over sets of 10, over sets of 15, up to 20 at a time. That's just me personally. And it gets to a point where if you're really trying to build muscle, once you can start getting into those higher rep ranges, then realistically, like at that point, it's just more of cardio. Like how much muscular endurance do you have? I prefer going heavier for a lower amount of reps. So when it comes to my back workouts, I like working anywhere between, sets of 8 to 10 reps. But how am I going to do that with pull-ups? It's not like I can make my body weight heavier outside of obviously wearing like some type of weight hanging off my hips with a chain. Like I could hang a 45 or a 25 or some type of weight. But at that point, it's kind of like that's the whole reason why the lat pull-down machine exists. So that's the only reason why I personally, although I love the pull-ups because I'm good at them, I stay away from them and I go on to the lat pull-down because I simply don't have enough body weight to make the actual pull-ups heavier to give myself more of a challenge. But on a lat pull down, I can easily go even more. So I'm like, okay, now I'm getting even more of a challenge. Now I can go even heavier so that I don't have to do, sets of 15 plus. But this past Wednesday, I was just curious because it actually has been a long time since I've done pull-ups. So I'm like, I wonder if I can still hit 20 back to back to back. So right here, just out of curiosity, I went ahead and repped it out, and I'm not gonna lie, I got a little questionable towards the end. I didn't go all the way down, and there were some pauses. I started fatiguing. But before any of you start criticizing and start saying, "Oh no, you didn't go all the way down. Oh no, you didn't lock out your elbows. You didn't go all the way up," ask yourself how many you can do that look this easily. All right, many of you, I'd be surprised if you can even do 5 that look like this. So keep that in mind before you start putting all your hate comments down below. Ask yourself if you can really do what it is that you're critiquing on. So right here, whether you want to call it 15 good ones and then the last 5 were a little questionable, or you just get all 20, it's still really good range of motion. Maybe a little bit of a slight bend in the elbow, but I mean, at the end of the day, this compared to this, it's not much. That's still a lot more than what many people can do. There's so many out there that can't even do one pull-up, let alone damn near 20. But here's the thing. Why can't you? I always have had this training philosophy. Even when I was a personal trainer and I had clients, they always said, yeah, I want to be able to lift this much. I want to be able to do dumbbell rows with 100-pound dumbbells. Yes, I want to be able to max out the whole stack on the lat pull down machine. I've always had the personal training philosophy of before you can expect yourself to lift hundreds of pounds worth of weight, whether that be on a dumbbell, a barbell, a cable machine, you gotta be able to master your own body weight. It's because it's so applicable to everything. You got to pull yourself up when it comes to push-ups. You got to push yourself off the floor if you fall. When we sit up and down from a chair, you got to be able to have that leg strength. How many of you know people that when it comes to sitting down on a chair, they got to rely by grabbing onto the handles of the chair and they have to use their arms to slowly let themselves down. And then when they stand back up, again, they got to grab the handles and push themselves up. You standing up and down from a chair should be a leg exercise, not a tricep dip exercise. So it just goes to show you, I am a very big believer, very firm believer, and you got to be able to master your own body weight first before you can expect yourself to lift hundreds of pounds of additional weight. But how are we going to do it for those of you who can't even do one pull-up? That's what we're gonna go over. 3 things that I'm pretty sure if you stay consistent with it over time, it will help you get to your first pull-up. And I wanna say this, when I was in 6th grade, that's when I finally was able to do a pull-up. I went to middle school, they had the pull-up bars mounted on the wall every day. I just hung on it and until, oh my God, it took forever to finally get that first. But believe me, once you get your first pull-up, it's gonna be so much easier to get to 10. It is a lot harder to go from 0 pull-ups to 1 pull-ups compared to how much harder it is to go from 1 to 10. All you gotta do is get to that first one, and then the progress will just keep increasing from there. So first thing, obviously, you're gonna need a pull-up bar. Find something to hang off of. If you don't got a pull-up bar, hey, figure it out. We got the door-mounted ones, you know, they can hang indoors. If your squat rack actually has a pull-up bar, you just need something to simply hang off of. Now, why can't people do pull-ups? There's realistically 2 big, maybe I should say 3 big reasons. 1, you're a beginner. Obviously, you know, it's new. If you're a beginner, you're not gonna get anything on the first try. 2, you're just simply not strong enough. Let's just say you have been working out, you have gains, you're just simply not strong enough. You don't have that body weight strength to actually pull yourself up. Or number 3, which is the cause of why you don't have strength, maybe you are strong, you're just simply too heavy. There's a reason why we see a lot of big guys not be able to do pull-ups, a lot of big, massive bodybuilders. It's clear that they work out. Yes, they can lift hundreds of pounds, but the heavier your body weight is, the harder it's gonna be. That's why, again, going back to my example, that's part of the reason why I'm really good at pull-ups. I don't weigh a lot. I'm only 178 pounds. So me repping out pull-ups is obviously gonna be a lot easier than we have someone who's pushing 260, 270. But how can we fix that? Number 1 thing, for any one of those 3 reasons, you're a beginner, not strong enough, too heavy, big thing that's gonna really help you when it comes to these pull-ups, assisted pull-ups. Now, a lot of gyms have the actual assisted pull-up machine, but at the same time, there's a lot that don't. So how are we gonna fix that? Bands, right here. These little rubber cables, this is what we're gonna need. And there's just so many ways that you can go about it. I mean, you can go ahead, grab whatever band, you can go ahead, loop it at the top, and here's what it's gonna look like. So obviously you might want to need something to stand on, so I got a little box right here. Pretty much what this does is it helps you out with the hardest portion of the movement. And for any type of pull-up, doesn't matter if you're doing overhand, underhand, mixed grip, it doesn't really matter. All you're doing is taking off a fraction of your body weight on the way down. So if I'm coming right here, boom, I go down, and it's almost like a slingshot. So right here, it's taking off a fraction of my weight from the bottom, but as I pull myself up, it's taking away less and less. The more the band is stretched out, the more of your own body weight is gonna remove. And then the higher you get up, the less the band is stretched, the more of your body weight you're actually gonna feel. So think of it like the concept of chains, or for many of you who have maybe lifted a barbell and you strap the bands to the side. Essentially, it makes the bottom half easier, makes the top half harder. All you need is a little bit of assistance to help, boom, get yourself back up. That's one way to go about it. Another way you can use the band, if you don't want to go ahead and loop it at the top, is it's going to be very specific. If you have a squat rack that looks something like this, where the pull-up bar is right on top of the uprights, but the uprights have spotter arms. The key thing here is going to be the spotter arms. Hell, you can even do it right here on the J-cups. You just need something on each side to loop the band down below. And the reason why people will sort to this method instead of the band is because sometimes when it comes to this band, it could be a little awkward if you're doing it by yourself to get it underneath your knee and then get in position. Sometimes if you loop the band over to your left knee, it might pull you up to the left side compared to, you know, maybe to the right side. Or I don't know how many of y'all have ever seen those videos where they have the band on one side, but then it slips and boom, slingshots you right up the middle. That's what we're trying to avoid. But if you do it this way and you put the band down below, now you can easily step on it right down the middle and it still has that same effect. It's almost like a trampoline. Right here, it's gonna be a lot easier to pull myself up, but as I'm pulling myself up, the band has less slack. Boom, I feel more of my body weight being under my own control towards the top, but I feel a lot easier towards the bottom. So you're just using this as progress, as just a starting point, essentially. Now, the good thing about bands too is it's easy to measure progress. I mean, you're talking about, look how thick this green band is. The thicker the band, the stronger the band, the more of your body weight is gonna take off. Once you can start repping out pull-ups using this band and it starts to feel a little too easy, okay, switch it out to, let's just say, a band like this. where it's a little thinner, so it's gonna take off even less weight. And eventually you keep going with progress. You keep minimizing the bands. Bands are not that expensive. You get a cheap set, look how much variety there is. You can go from the thick green one, this purple one is the next thickest one, then we got the yellow, this red one is super thin, and then once you no longer need this one, you keep minimizing the amount of resistance, boom, over time, you're gonna be lifting more and more of your own body weight until you could finally be able to control your own weight without the use of, resistance bands. So that's one exercise you can do, and it will help you get to your first pull-up. But let's just say you don't have bands, and even though some of them can be inexpensive, let's just say, times are tough, you don't got that much money. No big deal. There's a way around this where we don't need the bands. What we're gonna be prioritizing for the second tip is gonna be the eccentrics. The eccentrics of any movement is the portion of the exercise where the muscle is actually being elongated, where the muscle is being stretched. So if we're hanging right here, a pull-up, and we're pulling ourselves up, what's happening to our lats and our biceps, our back and right here in our arms? The muscles are getting contracted, but on the way down, what's happening? You're gonna feel the stretch all right here. If you can get that portion stronger, the eccentrics, the part of the movement where you're actually lengthening the muscle, you get that stronger, oh, you're gonna see so many results. Everyone keeps thinking that when it comes to pull-up, yes, prioritize the actual pull-up portion. I mean, the name of the exercise is named after the actual movement you're doing. But no. I want you to think the opposite. Prioritize slow and controlled on the way down, and in turn, that will make you a lot stronger and have carryover to actually one day being able to pull yourself up. But the question is, well, how do you get yourself up here in the first place? There's two ways. Use a box, like I did earlier, and actually help yourself up right here, and then eventually jump off the box, and then hold yourself up slow on the way down. So if I'm already here, okay, add a little jump, and then slow and control as much as you can on the way down. Here's the thing, depending on how weak you are, depending how much of a beginner, depending on how heavy you are, a lot of you will end up looking like this. You'll start off strong, add a little jump, slow on the way down, but once you get to here, boom, just straight drop. There's nothing wrong with that. Just go as slow as much as you can. If you can only go 1, 2, 3, and then boom, just straight drop, that's okay. You stay consistent with this over time, week by week, workout by workout, you're gonna add a little bit more. So on week 1, you might be able to only go drop. Week 2, you might be able to go maybe a little more, drop. Week 3, almost got the full thing, almost, and then the last minute, no, I couldn't control it. Eventually, you'll be able to get the full, slow pull-up all the way down. That's good. That's one way to go about it. You don't want to use the box, okay? Just go ahead and do it with the jumping start. So from right here, 1, 2, 3, boom, jump, slow and controlled as much as you can, all the way down. Let go, shake it off, get ready for the next rep. Regrip, 1, 2, 3, jump, slow and controlled on the way down. For however many sets or reps that you said you're gonna do. You said you're gonna do sets of 5, okay, do it 5 times. That realistically is very tiring. I wouldn't recommend you do high rep sets with it. Honestly, 5 is more than enough every week, considering the fact that you're gonna be seeing progress with how much slower you can get. You get that portion of the pull-up stronger, the actual lengthening on the way down, then you're bound to one day be able to actually have the strength to pull yourself up. Everyone always neglects the eccentrics, the lengthening portion of any movement. Someone's doing curls, what do? They just drop it. No, slow on the way down. On bench press, what do people do? Fast on the way down, bounce it off their chest, and then contract. No, you focus on going slow on the way down for any movement where the muscle is being stretched, you're gonna see results. Nothing changes when it comes to this. And the last tip, not necessarily related to actually doing some type of pull-up variation, but I'm talking about moving away from the bodyweight exercises. I'm moving on to some of the weighted exercises. Yes, I did say earlier that before you can start adding any extra resistance, you gotta be able to master your own body weight. But there is a time and place where it is appropriate to add some resistance through weights, through barbells, dumbbells, machines, whatever it may be, external resistance. Here's what I'm speaking of. When we do a pull-up, what muscles are we using? Obviously our back and our biceps. It's like a bench press. Everyone only thinks that the bench press is for your chest, but no, your bench press is also for your triceps. Same thing with the pulling. Yes, we're pulling down. That's lats right here. But notice how our elbow, we're forcing it to bend. What is the muscle that is responsible for bending your elbow? Your bicep. So if we're not strong enough to do pull-ups, how about we take it a step further and individually make stronger the muscles that contribute to the pull-up motion? In this case, we got our back, our lats right here, and we got our biceps. So how about we do specific exercises to really target those two muscle groups and make them bigger? Because a bigger muscle is also a stronger muscle. So when it comes to back, it's not just your lats. People gotta understand, your back is comprised of so many different muscle groups. I mean, you got your lats, which are the big V-shaped muscles that most people associate, but we also got our rhomboids, we got a teres minor, teres major, you got your lower traps. All of these come into play when it comes to the pull-up motion. So target your back workouts to address all these different muscles. I mean, we're talking about things like you could do seated cable rows. That's a rowing motion. That's all for your back. You can do things like one-arm dumbbell rows. That is also for your back. You could do bent over rows. That is also for your back. Hell, you could even do direct pull-down motions. I mean, think about the exercise itself of a lat pull down. Is that motion with a cable not the exact same thing as a pull-up? So if you can't do bodyweight pull-ups on here on a pull-up bar, you can still practice that movement, but on a cable machine where you can adjust the weight to the exact amount that you are able to lift. Every week, go heavier on the lat pull downs, and then it's gonna have direct carryover to the pull-up, which again is that exact same movement. That's all for your back, lats, teres minor, rhomboids, all of those muscles. Let's also address some biceps. There's nothing too crazy about it, nothing complicated. Just keep it to the curls. Right here. You want to be specific with it? Let's go hammer curls. Because when you really think about it, right here, pull up, boom. What is the angle of the arm right here? We bring our arm back down, boom. That's a hammer curl right there. So get stronger in those hammer curls. If we were to do regular curls, that would have a little bit more carryover to chin-ups. Chin-ups are these. Look how my palm is facing my bicep. So I should be doing this. Whereas then with a pull-up, I pull this way. What happens? My thumb is directly pointing right here to my bicep. So let's angle the hands. But regardless, at the end of the day, work out those biceps too. It is not just your back, it's also your biceps. Find those individual exercises, strengthen up those individual muscle groups, make them bigger. A bigger muscle is a stronger muscle. And the stronger we get those two groups, the more carryover and the easier it's gonna be to help us get to that first pull-up. So there you have it, everyone. Again, pull-ups, one of my favorite exercises. The reason why? Because I'm really good at it. I don't weigh a lot. That definitely plays a huge factor in it. But regardless, no matter what your body weight is, you take these three exercises or these three concepts and tips into play, it's bound to help you see at least some type of progress. Yes, maybe you won't be able to get a lot of pull-ups, but hey, it's still one more than you could have otherwise done. If you can't do any at all, just being able to finally complete one, that's still progress. And little progress is still progress. We just got to see improvement. We just got to see strength increases. Go ahead, try them out, see if they work for yourselves. Like I said, it is a lot harder to go from 0 to 1 pull-ups than it is to get from 1 to 10. All you got to do is get that first one, and it's going to set the tone for the rest. It's really not that bad. You just got to stay consistent with it, eat the right diet, get enough rest, push yourself, take all these big factors into account, and then over time, you stay consistent with everything, you'll see results. Hopefully this video was helpful. Comment down below if it was, and also comment down below any other video suggestions you'd like to see me do, whether it be about mindset, motivation, nutrition, diets, workouts, programs, whatever it is. Comment down below. I'd be more than happy to help y'all out. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you miss out on any new videos. Because remember, new videos on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, so don't miss out. And on Instagram and TikTok, same thing. Be sure to follow me on both accounts. I put all my links down in the description below. With that being said, I'll catch y'all next time.